Hey guys, it's Kay from KS Anonymous, and I am back today with another episode of r/HumansBeingBros. This is my advocate. She's the most lovely social worker and knows I'm feeling down, so is driving 30 minutes just to get me a takeaway. She's done more than just this, but it means a lot. How do you fancy a bad pizza and chips later this week? I could collect it and run it down to you. My treat. Thank you, and that sounds amazing, to be honest. Honestly, so happy right now. One of my neighbors is offering a free blind date with a book to passersby. I love this because of how much this person must like these books. To take the time to wrap them in paper and give them a little, I think they put the word keywords or something like that, to help someone go on a blind date to read the book or whatever. That's funny. I like that. Made me smile. My daughter and her neighbor friend spend a lot of the day sitting 6 feet away from the sidewalk, shouting compliments out at strangers who walk by. It's the right mood for these times. Just overheard, "Your shirt matches your dog and I like that about you!" That's so cute. The pizza joint near me offers free pizza to anyone who needs it. No questions asked. No money, no problem. Free slices if you need. That's really sweet of them. I hope that no one takes the wrong kind of advantage of them, but that is a really awesome gesture by that company, and they appear to be as maybe like a small town pizza place. I'm not familiar with them as like a big chain restaurant or anything, so that's really awesome. My local restaurant giving out TP for free during the crisis. If you need a roll, please take one. Neighbors being bros during quarantine. From your friends in 3F. Free books, no return necessary. For all those bored in quarantine and looking for a good story. Stay safe and healthy. I love how all the book lovers are like coming out of the woodwork like, this is our moment. It's so funny. It's sweet too though. My local public school giving away all of their unused or uneaten meals for free to anyone who signs up and needs it. Free breakfast and lunch, ages 1 through 18, at curbside pickup Saturdays 10 to 12. You'll receive 10 total meals per child. You do not need to be a student. Email blank by Tuesday at noon to sign up your family. Please share and go Eagles. My best friend fully supporting me and my artwork by commissioning me and refusing to pay less than full price. Okie dokie artichoke. I'll give you a discount, so I'll sell it to you for $30. How does that sound? You don't have to give me a discount. I wanted to do this. How much would you usually do it for? About 50. Then 50 it is. You're sure? Yes. Bad A women support Bad A women. This is me supporting you and your work. I don't need a discount just because I'm your friend. This is like the mega reverse of r/choosing beggars, and you'll love to see it. Mayor of Mumbai, Kishori Pednekar, was a nurse before she joined politics. Today, she went back to her old job. That's awesome. Power workers being bros here in the UK. Power workers living in isolation pods. Electricity workers are living in a mini village to ensure power keeps reaching homes and hospitals during the pandemic. About 18 National Grid employees have been living in pods on the site in the Midlands since the Easter weekend to minimize the risk of them falling ill. Among the workers is Steve Gregory, who will miss his wedding anniversary while he works to keep the electricity flowing. Andy Eagle, a shift manager for National Grid's transmission network team, said, "It's a big sacrifice in terms of being away from our loved ones and families, but it's one we're all willing to make to ensure we can help keep the lights on for the country." Thank you to these power workers and to every employee or personnel who has to stay away from their family to be able to help the rest of the country or wherever they live. Thank you so much for making that sacrifice, because it's insanely difficult and I could not imagine going through that. Now this one, while I'm not sure if it's really a humans being bros story, I think it is a nice positive story, and so I think it fits here, and it was submitted to r/humans being bros, so let's check it out. My promposal story. How an introvert made a breakthrough. It's Friday, February 21st, and for my high school band, it's one of the most important nights of the year. Band bingo, and a young, nervous Matt Wicker has just gotten out of his after-school EMT class and I was sitting at my firehouse listening to Down Below by Roddy Ricch through my Skull Candy Signature Essential Selects earbuds and deciding if I wanted to go through with the plan I had been formulating for the past week. Because I have a mild case of Asperger's, which means I have very high functioning autism, and with that comes problems with talking and social interaction, so I'd gotten the idea and accepted it that nobody will go to prom with me, so I'm not going to prom. 2 months prior, the constant nagging of my mother and grandmother, "You need a prom date," had driven me insane, but it also made me sad. Even though I would tell myself that I don't care, I really did, and I was sitting there wondering, who would I even ask? And the thought popped into my head about asking a certain someone in band. She is a sophomore and I'm a senior, and we had been good friends since we had met the previous year. She likes a lot of the same stuff I like, and had always been nice to me. She's also a bit of an introvert too. I thought the worst thing she could say was no. The biggest obstacle from me was this thought. If I ask her, she's going to think I want to date her, and that will ruin an already good enough friendship. And that possibility nearly destroyed me. Second obstacle was, how am I going to ask her? And I kid you not, I came up with my idea the day I asked her. Here was the plan. Me and her love taking pictures, and I love Polaroids, and I have a camera that can print pictures off your phone, and the idea popped in my head to incorporate that. My favorite is us in front of a wreath during a Christmas party. I was hiding in the band office on the other side of the school while bingo was going on in the cafeteria, dreading if I wanted to do this or not, and I took a deep breath, decided not to be a nervous wreck, and I set my plan into motion. Before I got there, I texted her, "I got a pretty good surprise for you tonight." So I printed 5 Polaroids of me and her together, and I took a highlighter, and on the back of each, I spelled out prom, along with a letter asking her to solve the puzzle in an envelope A. She was helping work the event, so she was busy, and I couldn't ask her, and this entire time I was worrying about what would happen. But luckily we had an intermission, and she could take a break and socialize. And this is my chance, I thought. And thus, the longest 10 minutes of my life began. I looked like a mess. My eyes have naturally dark circles around them because of insomnia and nervousness. My red hair was messy and mostly unkempt. I was wearing a white t-shirt with a blue streak from a dropped pastel, red hooded flannel, khaki joggers, and a pair of well-worn checkered Vans, a style I call fashionable grunge. I also had a pretty nasty fresh shaving cut on my right cheek, but anyway, I got her attention and I told her, "Alright, so that surprise I had talked about, yeah, it's happening now." She's confused but smiling and says, "Okay, well, what is it?" I asked her, "I need you to solve a puzzle." And she said, "Matt, you're scaring me." She said it in a nervous voice, but ended with a smile and a giggle. "I'm not good at puzzles." And she opens the envelope and smiles, and she says, "It's you and me." Seeing our pictures, then I ask her to flip them over, arranging these words, and she stops and says, "I think I know what it says," and gives me this big smile. She spells it out, and I say, "Well?" She stopped dead in her tracks, and the longest 3 seconds of my life just started. Yes." And then the tears from me started, and we give each other this great big hug, and all I can say is thank you. Through my attempt to choke back these tears, I felt like I had just won a war inside my mind. Now that prom has been postponed because of Corona, and we talked the other day, one day, even if it's normal clothes, we are going to have our prom dance at a small graduation. One day. One day. Aww, in this part right here, they had shared a picture of them, and that's so sweet! Okay, so I'm not always great at understanding things. I know, like, obviously he was inviting her to prom and stuff. I know he was worried about ruining their friendship if she was like, no, that's weird. So I don't know if they're... I don't know if they're like in a relationship now or if they're just gonna enjoy having prom as friends. I don't understand, but it's still cute, and I'm sure they know what they're doing. Like how they feel about each other, whether they're going as friends or as more than friends or whatever. But that's so sweet, and I'm really glad that he was able to kind of get over that mental block and ask, and that she wasn't like weirded out or anything like that, and that they're gonna have their little prom dance, whether this pandemic or whatever else tries to stop them. They'll have their moment, and I think that's awesome. My grandfather was with the fire department for 54 years. My grandmother lost her battle with cancer last night. The firemen stopped by to show their solidarity. I don't have words, but that's amazing. This next one was a letter. That was a bit hard to read because of handwriting, and normally I try to read it anyway, but thankfully the original poster had actually transcribed it in the comments, so I'm just going to show you the transcription and read that. Dear Mr. Cuomo, I sincerely doubt that you will ever read this letter, as I know you are busy beyond belief with the disaster that has befallen our country. We currently, as of March 26, 2020, are a nation in crisis. Of that, there is no doubt. Your approach has been spot on correct. I commend you for that, and especially for telling the truth, something that has been sorely lacking as of late. I am a retired farmer hunkered down in northeast Kansas with my wife, who has but one lung and occasional problems with her remaining lung. She also has diabetes. We are in our 70s now, and frankly, I am afraid for her. Enclosed, find a solitary N95 mask left over from my farming days. It has never been used. If you could, would you please give this mask to a nurse or doctor in your city? I have kept 4 masks for my immediate family. Please keep on doing what you do so well, which is to lead. Sincerely, Dennis. Now, politics or whatever aside, personal feelings about who this person is writing to, I just find this, I don't know, it's very moving, the concept of someone saying, I have this one thing I can give. And I know that you're having a really hard time there in your state, and there's a need for this. And even though it's just one, can you please make sure it makes it to someone who needs it? Like, that just makes me, I am moved to tears. And, you know, regardless of how we feel about people or whatever, it's just that kind of action saying, even the little that I have, I hope that this will help. And that's the kind of, I don't know, humans being pros that we need in life. And I'm just, yeah, I had to include that one. Anyway, that is going to wrap up today's video. If you enjoyed it, or, I don't know, found it uplifting in any way, feel free to go ahead and drop a like, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Really quickly, I would like to thank my patrons. Up on the screen, you should see my face palmers, and my crazy case. And just like an extra thank you to you guys, because you've been here for quite a while, and I don't know, it's just thank you. And everyone who's ever supported me as well. I know finances aren't always stable or easy to come by, and anyone who's ever supported me, whether financially or just by watching videos, thank you. Thank you for spending your time. Thank you for spending your money. Thank you for being here. You're amazing and wonderful, and I love you so much, and I just wanted to let you know that. Thank you. If you're interested in becoming a patron, checking out the original post that we went over in today's video, or sending me an email for possible inclusion in a future video, all of that information is in the description box, so be sure to check it out. And I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye!